Well, well. Hello, everyone. This is the first stream I've done in, I think, so long. It certainly feels like it's been weeks. I think the last time I streamed on here was probably the day the game launched. And I just haven't had time to stream since then. So it's good to be back streaming, guys. Hope you are all doing very well indeed. I certainly am. Although I'm being a very, very busy boy with the daily uploads at the moment. It's pretty crazy stuff. But yes, guys, we are here. We are back. And today we are going to be rating some of your team. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing what you guys have got. I've made a million drafts by this point. I'm sure some of you guys are going to be similar. You've made a lot of teams. And hopefully, as we get through the next week, we can start to settle on our teams a little bit. Indeed. But, guys, just to let you know, I am going to be prioritizing rating the teams of channel members, particularly those at starting 11 or above. There is already a link available for those of you guys who are a channel member at the starting 11 level or above. There is a link on my channel homepage where you can upload a screenshot of your team to a Google Drive file, basically a folder where we can have a look at your team. And actually, a couple of you have already uploaded there. So, yeah, good stuff there. And we're going to have a look at those teams first of all. Got to prioritize those who do support the channel. So do feel free to join as a member. And then after that, after we've done those two teams, unless any more come in, we will just start rating everyone's teams. And the way I want you to do it, and this is so I know you guys, so we're rating people who are live in the chat, who are actually here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tweet out right now on X at FPL Mate. I'm going to tweet out a GIF of a certain player, and I want you guys to reply to this GIF. No one who is following me on Twitter will know what this means, other than you guys who are watching live. So I'm going to tweet out a GIF. Who shall we tweet a GIF of? I think we're going to tweet out Evan Nilsson. So I've tweeted out a GIF of Evan Nilsson, and I want you to reply to the tweet, the GIF of Evan Nilsson with a picture of your team. So there we go. Now we know that only those of you here will be able to have your team rated. But I want to have a look at some of these members' teams. So let's go ahead and do that before we do anything else. So let's see here. So we've got this one, first of all. And I don't actually know who it's from. I don't know where to check the names on this because there's not names attached to them. I guess I could see the email of the person who sent it in, but I don't particularly want to leak that. But if this is your team, well, we're going to have a look at it right now. Is this big enough on the screen? Can you guys see this okay? I don't know if this is the best way of doing it or not, to be honest. Let's zoom. Can we zoom in? No. What if we open the image in new tab? I'll tell you what, I'll just download these. I'll download the files and then we can do it that way. First time trying this, so there's always a couple of teething problems there, but it's fine. It's absolutely fine. So we've got two teams. If I open them here we go. That's much better. Much better. Oh, look at that. We're cooking, guys. We're absolutely cooking. So here we go. So this is interesting with a double Crystal Palace defense. That is brave. Now, I have to warn, I did start last season with double Crystal Palace defense, and it did not go to plan at all. But this is a no Salah, no Haaland draft. Ben White is in this team. I'm a little bit concerned about that one. I think Jurriën Timber has a very good chance of being the main starting right back. And maybe there being some rotation between White and Timber. So I have to say, the Ben White, I think he has to go. And I think if you're going to go for one Crystal Palace defender, absolutely fine. And I love Munoz and I love Richards, but I probably wouldn't double up there. Maybe try and find a different 4.5 million defender. Who could we go for? We could potentially go for maybe a Spurs defender there. So Van der Ven. at 4.5. And then maybe Ben White to Tarkowski could potentially work there for a 5.5. So there's a couple of different options there. So yeah, Richards to Anderson, Van der Ven. Trying to think of some other 4.5 millions that I like the look of. Some people like Konsa. Yeah, I'm kind of on the fence with that one, to be honest. Let's have a look at this midfield. Verts, Palmer. Bruno G is rogue. I don't completely hate it, but I think there probably are more optimal options there. And Sharda, the 7 million man, I think that's going to be too much money for Sharda this season. I think it's going to be too much money for him. Particularly, I think Igor Thiago is going to be the main goal-scoring outlet for Brentford this season, assuming Wissa leaves. And therefore, I'd probably just rather go for the 6 million striker than the 7 million midfielder. So, yeah, not massively keen on Sharda. He'd be another player I would remove. Bruno G, I'm not gonna slate that one too much. I think that there is opportunity there to get some defensive contribution points, maybe a bit of creativity there. The fixtures aren't great in the opening 2 for Newcastle. They play Aston Villa away first game, and then it's Liverpool game week 2. But actually, the fixtures after that are not too bad. So I'm gonna say not a fan of double Crystal Palace defense. Ben White, I think, has to go. Sharda has to go. The front line, no problem with this whatsoever. I'm not a huge Chris Wood fan, but I definitely appreciate his viability as an FPL asset. So overall, what do we get this one? I think we have to give this one a 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10 because of the Ben White and Sharda and the double Crystal Palace defense. And I think maybe the one other thing is that there will be money on the bench here. I think this is intended is this intended for a bench boost? Was there a hang on, where is it? So, no such... was it this one? Yeah, so this is intended for a bench boost in game week 2, which is kind of interesting. Maybe that's why there's so much money on the bench for that reason. But still, I think if you're going to put money on the bench, could we go a little bit cheaper, maybe? Could we maybe go a little bit cheaper? Rin, it's your team, apparently. Ah, new member Rin. Well, thank you very much, Rin. Sorry, I didn't see you in the chat that this was your team. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. Yeah, it's a 7 out of 10. I think if I'm bench boosting game week 2, I wouldn't want to destroy my team for all of the weeks around that bench boost by having too much money on the bench. So I would maybe downgrade your 8th attacker, sorry. So whoever your 8th attacker is, if you like, I'd maybe try and pull a bit of money out of them, go to a 6 million, 5.5 million potentially there. And I think I would also, yeah, like I said, the other bits and bobs there as well. So there you go, 7 out of 10, but room for improvement, and hopefully we'll be able to sort that out by deadline. So this is the next team here. I think this is also bench boosting game week 2. That seems like a popular strategy. Quick super chat, by the way, in the chat from MK says, can you check my team, please? Yes, so if you want to get your team rated, you can either join as a member of the channel and we'll just do your team instantly. You can drop it into the Google Drive file, which is on my channel page, on my community tab. Or if you just want to try your luck, and there'll be a lot of you guys replying to my tweet. So my most recent tweet, the GIF of Evan Nilsson, yeah, go ahead and leave a screenshot of your team in a reply to that tweet, and we'll check some of those teams out as well. So that's how you can get your team rated. Anyway, let's have a look at this one. So another bench boost 2, as we mentioned. It looks strong in defense here. I love Sanchez and Dubravka. Rin, I think, had the same kind of 2 goalkeepers there. I do like that combo, which definitely, there's points there for sure. And then we have Virgil, Cucurella, Van der Ven, De Kuiper, and Lacroix. So you've got the attacking threat from Cucurella and De Kuiper. You've got the more defensive contribution players like Virgil and Lacroix. So nice balance there. And Van der Ven, I think he will get defensive contributions this season, but a little bit of a mystery. But 4.5 million, good fixtures, not too much of a problem there. The rest of this is interesting. I think Bruno, like it. Gakpo, like it. And Dyer, like it. Palmer, like it. There's no Salah in this team, but we've got Gakpo maybe as an alternative there. Marmoush, I am concerned about. I don't know if you guys saw my midfielder tier list video yesterday, but I was shocked to see that Marmoush actually only scored 7 goals in 14 matches. And if you take away the match in which he scored a hat-trick, what's that? 4 goals in 13 matches. 4 goals in 13 matches. It's not really good enough. And his minutes are going to be reduced this season. So I'm not keen on Marmoush personally. And the other players I'm not so keen on is maybe the two strikers, Gyökeres and Solanke. But I appreciate, if you're going bench boost 2, you want to try and get some Arsenal against Leeds for game week 2. It's not so bad. It's not so bad. I don't mind Gyökeres as an alternative to Watkins, but my preference is Watkins. But I think Gyökeres could still be really, really good. Solanke, on the other hand, I'm worried. I'm worried about his ankle injury, man. I'm worried about any Spurs players that get injuries. They've got a very poor record of a player just having a small injury and then suddenly they're out for time. So yeah, Solanke is a player I would be keeping a very close eye on over the next week. Obviously, Spurs have the European Super Cup, and if Solanke's not in the squad for the European Super Cup, if he's not even on the bench, he's got to go. Even if he's on the bench, you have to remove him, I think, because you never know with Spurs. A player is out apparently for a week and then suddenly they're out for 3 months. So Solanke's ankle is being assessed, but I'm a little worried there. The other player is Strand Larsen, which I like. I think other than Solanke and Marmoush, who I have concerns about, I like this team a lot. For a no Salah, no Haaland draft. And I love that some of you guys are being creative with it, going for teams with no Salah, no Haaland. I love the bravery there. I really, really do. Yeah, I think I would give this an 8 out of 10. Yeah, I think there is a couple of changes that's maybe my personal preference. But this is a good team. This is a strong team. I like this. I like this. A little more than your team, Rin. I'm so sorry. It's the Ben White is troubling me. It really is troubling me. I had to dock you points for that one, unfortunately. But yeah, there you go. A nice 8 out of 10 there. Pretty strong. Pretty strong. All right, nice. Okay, let's check out some of your other teams. Hopefully, we've got a few replies to this tweet here. Yes, we've got 64. That's a decent amount of teams to be rating here. Someone said, can we do a strikers tier list? Yeah, that's going to be coming out on Sunday. Yeah, that's going to be the Sunday video. That's going to be out Sunday morning for you guys to check out then. Looking forward to doing that one, but I've been putting it off a little bit. There's a lot of, it's difficult. Strikers are difficult in FPL right now. Forwards are difficult. So yeah, looking forward to getting stuck in on that one, but I have been putting it off a little bit. Well, Talk FPL clearly has no idea what this tweet was about. Kabalash says, I'm at the gym. Can you reply to my team quickly? Oh, if only it was that easy. But let's just go through some of these. We've got Abby's team here, first of all. So FPL Abby. Let's see what you got for me. So Sanchez, Dubravka, fantastic. Tarkovsky, Anderson, Murillo, Richards, and Steve, and Big Steve, to be fair. You know what? This team is DEFCON Central. Defensive contribution central. And I love that. I love that. I'm all about it. In midfield, a fairly template midfield here with Njai, Palmer, Idingra, Anderson, Salah, and a forward line of Watkins, Bowen, and Evanilson. So presumably, the idea is to bench Evanilson game week 1. And then after that, you'll be rotating Idingra and Anderson. And don't know if you're in the chat, Abby. Let me know if you are. Does that sound about right? If so, yeah, I like it. Because you've got a bit of a strategy going there already. I would be totally comfortable running a team like this. I would be totally comfortable. If someone said, gun to my head, Dan, you must use Abby's team for game week 1 for the new FPL season, I would say, you know what? Fine. I'm comfortable with that. So for that reason, I've got to give it a 9 out of 10. Bench boost game week 2 as well. I mean, look, I'm not totally convinced by bench boost game week 2 because it's a lot of, it's going to be relying essentially on Dubravka and a Steve getting a clean sheet against Sunderland, but also Idingra for Sunderland scoring against Burnley. So I don't know. I've seen a lot of teams like that. I'm not totally convinced by bench boost game week 2. But honestly, I like this team. I'm giving this a 9 out of 10. FPL enthusiast says Anderson is overrated, in my opinion. He cannot be overrated. He's in something like 1.4% of FPL teams right now. He cannot be overrated. He has to be underrated, if anything. Honestly, Anderson, I think he was number 6, so 6th best defensive actions per 90 among defenders last season in the Premier League. So really, really nice. Really, really nice kind of numbers there. So I'm a big Anderson fan. I'm a big Anderson fan. I've kind of struggled to fit him into my team recently for the rotations that I want, but no, I like it. Cool. Right. Let's find the next one. Let's find the next one. Let's go for Dalu here. Are you in the chat, Dalu? Let's see what you got. So we've got Kelleher and Petrovic, goalkeeper rotation there. Nico Williams, Kukurea, Tarkovsky, and then we got Juve and Goodmanson. All of these defenders I like. We've got Salah, Kudus, and Dai Palmer, midfield, and up front, Fulkrug, Watkins, Joao Pedro. And on the bench, the big man, PM Sarr. PM. I like it. I like it a lot. This is potentially a bench boost game week 1, no? What does Dalu say? I'm not so confident with Joao Pedro due to minutes risk. I have 0.5 in the bank. What better options are available? Or should I go for a 5 midfield system? Who should I go for? The 7.5 forwards I like are Mateta and Evanilson. Those are my 2 favorite at the moment. And I would put those both above Joao Pedro, I think, at this present moment. But you know, this team is really strong for a bench boost 1. I would strongly consider doing that because I think you got to play Juve against Sunderland. And I don't know who you would take out necessarily in order to do that. Yeah, it's a strong team. It's a strong team. Well, what you could do is not bench boost in game week 1 and instead play a 4-4-2 for game week 1. Switch Joao Pedro to like an Evanilson, for example. Then you would be able to bench Evanilson for his game against Liverpool. So that could work as well. I like Fulkrug as a 6 million man. I don't think he's a long-term option, but, you know, if you're looking to get quick gains early doors, yeah, I like it. As it is, I think there's a few risky players in here, like Kudus, Joao Pedro, and PM Sarr, and Fulkrug. But you know what? I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. I like this. I like this. I'm seeking the first 10 out of 10 team, guys. So it could be you. Could be you. I don't want to just pick the ones at the top. I'm gonna try and find some people I recognize who regularly reply to my stuff. So let's go, Jake. Jake, I feel like I've seen you around before. Right, so this is same 2 goalkeepers, Kelleher, Petrovic rotation. It does work. It does work. We've got Virgil, Nico, Richards, Anderson, and Dorgu. A little bit of Dorgu. So, you know, you're going for those DEFCON points defenders, and then you're spicing it up with a little Dorgu. I don't mind that one bit. I quite like it. Midfield of Salah, Palmer, and Dai, and Adingra. And Semenyo on the bench there for his game against Liverpool. Presumably, Semenyo comes in for Adingra in game week 2 onwards, which is going to be pretty good. Welbeck, Raul, Watkins. Not sure I love the forward structure here with 2 6.5 million forwards. I'd like to get one of them to 7.5, ideally. But, I'm not really sure how you would go about that. I mean, you could potentially take and die down to a 5.5, maybe to Anderson, and then upgrade like Welbeck, who I am a little worried about for minutes. I was bullish on Welbeck like a couple of weeks ago, but I'm, you know, seeing the friendlies, seeing the kind of how Brighton are setting up, who's playing, I'm a little concerned about Welbeck. So I'd look to upgrade him to a 7.5. Raul, I think, is underrated. And actually, he's going to be mentioned in the video I'm making for tomorrow, actually. So, yeah, we'll talk about Raul properly tomorrow. But I think I'll probably... This is Bench Boost Game Week 2. I think if you sorted out the Welbeck thing, this could be a 9. But I think because I am worried about Welbeck, I think I'm going to give it an 8. It is a strong team. It is really a strong team. That's probably the only thing I would be changing there. I like it. From the top, please. Is your team at the top by any chance? Carl's FPL. Well, definitely seen you around before, Carl's. Right. This team has got the double Chelsea defense. Sanchez, Kukurea, Van der Ven, Anderson, Reynaldo on the bench. I'm not feeling Reynaldo. I don't know. Reynildo. Not really feeling him. I think if I'm going for a 4 million defender, it's pretty much Goodmanson or nothing. Oh, actually, that's a lie. A Steve would be one as well. Munoz is a fun pick. Wilson is a fun pick. Marlon is a fun pick. There's a lot of fun picks in here. This is a Haaland and Salah draft, so you know you've got to cut some corners somewhere. But I think there are a lot of risks in this team, and the risks I would say are Marlon, Wilson, and a Dingra maybe there on the bench there as well. 3 5.5s. Structurally, it's difficult to, you know, get to maybe some of the other players. And I think Eze at 7.5, not only is he risky because we don't know where he's going to be playing, what club he's going to be playing for over the next couple of weeks, but also I don't think his numbers are actually that strong for what he is. So yeah, a little concerned. Got a super chat, by the way, just came up on screen. Sanchez, Dubravka, Milenkovic, Aitnori, Van der Ven, Konsa, Reynaldo, Salah, Palmer, and Dyer, Dingra, Verts, Besso, Larson, Watkins. Thoughts, please. My thoughts are not... I'm a little bit cautious around Aitnori, but, you know, he's not too bad. We spoke about Reynaldo already. Beto, I think, is a little risky. I don't think I'd go for Beto. But aside from that, I like it. I like it, Samir. I like that team. I'm going to give that an 8. We'll give that an 8. Right, anyway, back to Carl's team. Yeah, structurally, it worries me a little bit because it's not very flexible. And there's a lot of risky players in there. Marlon, Eze, Wilson, Adingra, and maybe even Wood. I think there are some risks there, like a few too many. I think game week 1, I would prefer to play a little bit conservatively. Don't get me wrong, I love a differential as much as the next guy, but yeah, I think I would limit my risky picks to maybe 1 or 2, 3 at a stretch. 4 or 5 is maybe a little too far for me. So I'm gonna give that 7 on that basis. I'm so sorry. Right, go back to the top, please. All right, I'm just going to do a refresh. That sounds fair. We'll see who appears at the top. More people who don't even know what this tweet's about. So we've done Dalu, we've done Abby. Let's do Nor. So this is Nor's team. We've got Sells in goal, Wan-Bissaka, Kukurea, Robinson, Pedro Porro. By the way, Robinson is recovering from an operation right now. So I don't know how fit he's going to be for game week 1. Just worth mentioning there. But we got Welbeck on the bench, who I'm not keen on, as we kind of mentioned. I think he's a little risky. But, you know, 4-4-2 team. We've got Rodgers there as well, who's picked up a potential ankle injury. Yeah. There's a couple of injury concerns in this team. Robinson, Rodgers. Joao Pedro maybe a small rotation concern. Welbeck is a bigger rotation concern. So, yeah, there is some risks, but this is bench boost game week 1. But do you really want to bench boost Dubravka against Spurs and Dorgu against Arsenal? I don't think so. Surely there's going to be a better week. Even Welbeck against Fulham, Xhaka against West Ham. What is the best we're expecting here? Xhaka, you know, pretty much only just arrived at the club. Is he going to be a 90-minute man in game week 1? Perhaps not. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I would bench boost this. And also, there are some players who I'm worried about for injuries. But Bowen, I love. Great pick. You know, we're not seeing them at Bowen in every team, and it's an interesting one. And I think, you know what else? For Wan-Bissaka, I love Wan-Bissaka. But I may be starting to lean more towards Juve as a West Ham defender. I don't know, guys. I don't know. What do you think? So yeah, what am I going to give this one? Because of the injury players, I can't give this more than a 7. I can't. I'm so sorry. Right, SJ. Sanchez, Dubravka, Hato. Chelsea fans reckon Hato's not going to be ready to go right away. You know, the physicality of the Premier League for a player like Hato is very young. Quite a small guy. Not going to lie. Is he going to be ready for the Premier League right away? Probably not. It's going to take some build up. So not keen on Hato. Frimpong not keen on either. But I definitely can be proven wrong on Frimpong. So I'm not gonna dock you points for that one. We've got Palmer, and Saka in this team. which has basically meant the front line is pretty inflexible. Marlon, you know, interesting differential. I don't mind Marlon. I think if you're going for like 5 Marlons in your team, like Marlon, Arias, you know, Adingra, all these guys, then I think we have a problem. But just going for one slight risk player, I think is fine. Yeah, I think structurally those forward slots are so rigid. And I think, you know, when people are picking their FPL team, I think a thing that is easy to forget is the structure of the team. And, you know, when game week 1 is done, you go into game week 2, and we're probably looking at making transfers immediately. Hopefully not, but, you know, we're maybe starting to eye up some players. Game week 2, 3 comes along. Okay, we've identified there's a 7.5 million striker who is doing really, really well. Maybe 9 million, maybe it's Gyökeres. How are we going to get them into our team? You know, Isak's just joined Liverpool. He's 10.5 million. How are we going to get him into our team? Is he 10.5 million? I barely looked at Isak this over the last couple of weeks. I can't lie. 2.5 in the bank. Oh, yeah, good spot. Good spot. Yeah, so I think, you know, when you're suddenly thinking, oh, man, I'm going to have to make 2 or 3 transfers just to get one player I want. In this team, it will be in the forward position. I think that could cause some issues. So from a flexibility point of view, I mean, I can see SJ you've put in the message there. Bruno for Saka and Watkins for Fulkrog and /Strand Larsen after game week 2. Well, that's another thing. Booking in transfers is not something I would like to do at all. Every time I've done it, it's not worked out well because, you know, you go into game week 1 and you're thinking like, okay, I'm definitely going to make these 2 transfers in game week 2. And then all of a sudden, one of your players gets injured. One of your players gets a red card. One of your players looks absolutely terrible, gets hooked after 15 minutes. One of your players you thought was going to be a starting player, actually they're on the bench. There's no injury issue or anything like that. It just seems like they're out of favor. Or, you know, a player looks brilliant and you think, I must get this player into my team. And it's not on your dedicated pre-plan. And suddenly you're thinking, I kind of wished I just kept my team as it was, or set up to keep my team for multiple weeks. And for the record, you want to bring in Bruno for Saka in game week 2? Why? You know, Saka's got Leeds in game week 2. You want to bring in Watkins in game week 2? Who do Aston Villa play? Is it Everton game week 2? I can't even remember. I should probably check before rec. I've been logged out, apparently. Well, I've been logged out of my FPL. Maybe someone in the chat can let me know who Aston Villa play in game week 2. But yeah, like that's kind of how I want to play. Oh, after game week 2. Oh, sorry, I thought you meant in game week 2. No, that makes more sense, to be fair. But again, like, you know, I think the point probably remains. I think. But again, that's my preference. I don't want to tell anyone what to do. But I could, you know, but we're on a team rating stream, right, guys? I got to do some ratings here. I'm going to give this one a 7. I think the inflexibility and the pre-booked transfers put me off a little bit. And Hato and Frimpong concern me a little bit as well. But aside from that, it's a strong team. It's a strong team. Mark has put in a super chat here. Says, you're putting his team in here. Presumably, Kelleher, Darlow, Van Dijk, Juve, Tarkovsky, Nico Williams, Steve, Palmer, Wirtz, and Dye, Kudus, Sarr, Haaland. So no Salah, but Haaland, Joao Pedro, Bowen. Any changes and rating, please, mate? Mark, I like it. I can't lie. I quite like that team. I'm going to give that team it's got to be an 8 out of 10. Maybe even a 9. For a no Salah draft, that's a 9. That's a 9. Cool. Right, let's see what else we got. Josh has put in 2 teams here and another one down here. Very keen, Josh. You know what? I respect the hustle. Let's have a look at your team, Josh. Give a wave in the chat if you're here, Josh, as well. Oh, is Brentford for Villa in game week 2? I see. Right. So, Josh has got Sanchez in goal, Tarkovsky, Van de Ven, Williams in defence. Pretty template there. Richards and a Steve on the bench. Dubravka on the bench there as well. Mark Gu on the bench. Yeah, pretty template stuff here. Nothing out of the ordinary. The one thing on a bench like this is that you are really relying quite heavily on your starting 11 because there's not really much on the bench. You've got Richards to rotate with Tarkowski, Van der Ven, Williams during their bad fixtures. But Richards is going to have bad fixtures himself when he's on the bench for you, presumably. So there's not really too much bench cover here. Maybe that won't be an issue. Maybe it will. A midfield of Anderson, Wirtz, Palmer, Saka, Marlon, and up front Watkins and another Haaland draft. Hey. Oh, that's a lot of money up front. You know what? That's the dream two forwards for me, but it's just so hard to afford Haaland without Salah, right? So difficult. But I like this team, generally speaking. Yeah, near perfect. Near perfect. Again, for a Haaland draft, this is a 9 out of 10. This is a 9 out of 10. I'm awaiting the 10 out of 10. The almighty 10 out of 10. When is it coming, guys? Remember, if you want to get your team rated live on the show, you can either join as a channel member at the starting 11 tier or above, and you'll get your team rated just instantly. You'll just have your team rated. I'll just rate your team. Or you can reply to my most recent tweet with a screenshot of your team. I guess the other way to get your team rated is to use the link at the top of the description, if it's working anyway. And you get an instant rating there. Right, from Josh onwards. Sanchu says, I'm between Josh and Josh. Are you Yoha? Are you Harry Kane propaganda? Let's see. Tommy says mine is 10 out of 10. Kabalash says I've got the 10 out of 10. Oh, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Right. Yoha. Sanchez in goal with Kinski backup. I think Kinski, at this moment, I prefer Dubravka, but, you know, never know. Kinski could, you know, get into the starting 11. A defense of Richards and Senesi there on the bench. I like Richards, of course. Senesi's interesting, though. I'm worried about the Bournemouth defense a little bit, but, you know, if we can go for Petrovic, we can go for Senesi too. A midfield of Palmer, Salah, Sarr and Marlon, Gu, Watkins and Haaland up front. Carvalho fourth on the bench. Oh, it's too much, man. It's too much. You're overstretched, I think. Having to play Mark Gu and 5 million Sarr and 5.5 million Marlon every week. I don't know, man. I don't know. Obviously, Palmer, Salah, Haaland probably get you some points, but I think you got to distribute the Palmer money. If you're going for Salah and Haaland and Watkins, of course, then you're going to be so thin in the rest of your squad, and I think this is what lets this team down a little bit. So if you downgraded Palmer and or Watkins, you can make some really nice upgrades here. And, you know, it wouldn't even take much. Watkins down to Mateta, and you freed up 1.5 million instantly, and you could take Sarr to a 5.5 million or Carvalho up. Carvalho's, what, 5 million-ish? So, you know, you could upgrade these players instantly, and your team would look better instantly and stronger and more rounded and more secure. So that's probably what I would do there, my friend. I'm going to do a refresh to see if there's any more recently sent teams. Got to be fair here. Who's gone to the top? It is Shosh. From Josh to Shosh. Hi, mate. Here is mine, says Shosh. So, Sells in goal. You know what? I have to admit, if you're going for Forest defensive players, I think I prefer the defenders to the goalkeeper just because of the new defensive contribution points. They do get a lot of them. But that said, Sells did get a lot of saves last season, so it could work out. Interesting. Don't see a huge amount of Sells in teams that I've seen. So, you know, points for creativity. And, you know, I don't think it's not a bad shout. Van der Ven, Juve, love. Konsa, everyone seems to love but me. Everyone seems to love Konsa but me. I'm just not convinced by Konsa and his complete inability to get defensive contribution points. Or bonus points for that matter, unless he scores, which he won't very often. Because he's scored like 2 goals in his entire Premier League career. in like 5 seasons or something like that. Crazy. I think Conser is, you guys, let's see, a few of you guys in the chat agreeing with me. Conser's overrated. I can't be alone on this one. Avan Samar agrees. FIFA fan agrees. Rin agrees. Hey, come on. Yoam Gucci agrees. Come on. Yes, I'm so glad I'm not alone on this one. I see so many people with Conser. I see content creators with Conser, and I'm like, am I the idiot? am I the dum-dum? Maybe I am. Maybe I am. You know, I'm open to the idea. But yeah, Conser not for me. Conser not for me. Marcel says, Conser's the GOAT, you are high AF. Come on, man. All right, so let's have a look at these other players here. So Salah, Vitz, Palmer, love. Watkins, Bowen, love. Richard on the bench there, love. I think your bench is very similar to a lot of tiers, but like for a good reason. Eze, I don't think there's value there for 6.5. Oh, you're Shosh. You're right there. Yeah, we're just ragging on your concert choice. I'm so sorry. Eze is someone who I don't think is good value for money. Like, not really feeling this one. Poor opening fixtures. His stats aren't really better than any of the many of the 6.5s. I mean, he actually has slightly worse per 90 underlying numbers than Ismail Assar, who's also 6.5. And their output was similar last season as well. So I think if you're going for Eze, then, you know, why not just go for Sarr at 6.5? And at least you free up a little bit of budget. You can, you know, do something with that, I'm sure. I mean, that's the difference between, you know, Conser and like a Tarkovsky or a Murillo or a Pedro Porro. Not going to quite get to Van Dijk that way, but, you know, you can get yourself a little closer, at least. So there we go. We did have a super chat there, by the way. €5 from MK, who says, goalkeeper Alisson and Verbruggen. Oh, instantly, that's too much money, I think. I think if you're going for Alisson, you're going to play him literally every single week. So there's no need to have Verbruggen there, my friend. So I don't think I would rotate Alisson out at all. So for that reason, I think I would take out one of those goalkeepers. Verbruggen is more a rotation guy. I totally get that. Defensive, Wan-Bissaka, Tarkovsky, Frimpong, Udogie is injured, by the way. Yeah, it's not officially been announced, I don't think. But the rumors right now is that it could be up to 3 months, or certainly a couple of months. So yeah, Udogie he's got to go. Aina is also a player not really too keen on. He seems to me to be the worst of the Forest defenders right now. A simple switch to Nico Williams resolves that issue instantly, though. Midfield, Adingra, Mitoma, Cherki, Wirtz, Saka. And forwards, Isak, Solanke, Gyökeres. Okay, so no Salah, no Palmer, no Haaland. Missing a lot of key players there, man. I would maybe see if I could get one of Haaland, Palmer, or Salah in. Like, to go without all 3 of those, I think is a little much. A little much. Cherky a little risky, but that could pay off. Isak, yeah, not super keen on Isak right away. I'd like to see what the Isak situation is before going in there. I think this is probably like a 5 out of 10 team. I'm so sorry, MK. I'm so sorry. I have to be honest. Yeah, there's quite a few holes in that team. But, you know, look, we've got a week to go. Plenty of time to resolve those holes. And also, you never know. I could be totally wrong. You know, it wouldn't be the first time. So there we go. Let's check out. We've got a couple of members at the bench tier, by the way. Nikhil Raj and Matthew. Thank you very much, both of you guys, for helping to support the channel. Of course, priority replies in the chat and emojis for the bench tier members. So we'll keep an eye on you guys in the chat as well. Rin says, it's got to be because he's number 3 for 4.5 defenders last year and Villa's run. That's why I think anyway. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, look, he is so... Look, I don't think Conser is a terrible pick. There will be clean sheets in there, for sure. No doubt about it. I just wonder, can we do a little better? I think that would be what I would say on Conser. But ultimately, I think the reason why Conser is as popular as he is a lot to do with a lot of people are just not going to be down with defensive contribution points yet. You know, it's going to take some adjustment to figure out how good are they, you know, how much impact do they have, etc., etc. So you can see why people might be a little cautious around these kind of ones. There we go. Right, let's continue on. See if we can find another team. Right, I'm just going to scroll randomly. Let's find someone towards the bottom. There we go, Callum. Right, Callum, your team is next, my friend. Hopefully you're here. FPL Have a Beer is here. Hello, how are you doing? Right, let's have a look at Callum's team. So, Sanchez, Dubravka, love it. Kirkes, Williams, Tarkovsky, Juve, and a Steve. I got no problems here. No problems here so far. Palmer, Salah, and Dye, Gakpo, Anderson. Yep, good. Watkins, Solanke, Mark Yu. I think the only issue here for me is Solanke and his potential injury issue. That's got to be the one concern here, right? Because if he's not in the Super Cup squad, then we're in trouble. So yeah, Solanke, I would probably try and maybe switch to a. I like Mateta, and I like what's it like Evan Nilsson. More difficult because in this structure you'll be looking to play that second striker. Got 0.5 in the bank, could go Bowen. Yeah, good shout, Mikhail. Yeah, all right. I think that's what I would change. Solanke to Bowen, and you know, this is a strong team after that. Really strong team. Kirkes, I would personally prefer Virgil, but I don't think Kirkes is fine. This is a 9 out of 10 team. This is a definitely a 9 out of 10 after the Solanke change, assuming he's injured. But if Solanke is fit, it's a 9 out of 10. It's a 9 out of 10. All right, someone said they were the one above Callum. Who was it in the chat? Yoni says, "Why are you not listening to me, bro?" I'm so sorry, man. There's a lot of people in the chat. There's a lot of teams to go for. I'm doing my best. I'm trying to go for a lot of teams, but I can't guarantee I will rate everyone. The only people I can guarantee are the bench tier members, if there is any of them around right now. I don't know if there is. Is there any more came in? No. So yeah, we're just gonna try and we're gonna try and do what we can. Oh, you're one down. Oh, that's Teddy. All right. TC Talks, CPFC. Crystal Palace fan, eh? All right, let's see the Crystal Palace players in this team. So we've got Verbruggen. Small concern about Verbruggen if he's going to be available game week 1 or not. But you do have Dubravka as cover there. I mean, worst case scenario, neither of your goalkeepers are going to play. But Nico, Anderson, a doggy, you know, we mentioned a doggy potential long-term injury there. So he's got to go. Vit, Saka, Sarr. I'm a Sarr fan. We already spoke about Sarr. As a Crystal Palace fan as well, I respect that you've gone for Sarr ahead of Eze. You know, Bull. You know, Bull. And Jai and Bruno in midfield. We've got Haaland team here with Watkins up front there as well. Munoz, Gu, and Goodmanson on the bench there. You know what? I quite like this team. A doggy, you know, you've got to deal with that doggy issue. And there is some issues with the goalkeepers, potentially. Like some risk for game week 1 at least. But beyond game week 1, I think these are going to be very good. A nice pairing of goalkeepers. A nice pairing. Yeah. Not too much flexibility in the defense. No 6 million guy. But you got Munoz at 5.5. You got various price points covered there. You can always downgrade a midfield potentially. So, yeah, I'm going to give this an 8. The only thing, it's a doggy for me that is concerning, and the goalkeepers. So, right, find another random team here. TC, how many times did you post your team? No wonder you were under the last guy. You've posted your team a million times. Cheating the system. Well, you know what? I should have skipped your team for that. That is dastardly behaviour. It's dastardly. Right. Ethan, here's your team. And you say class. I can't see your bench. So, I don't know how class this is. We've got Dubravka, Van der Ven, Virgil, Milenkovic, Milo. Double Forest defence is probably too much for me, particularly 2 5.5 guys. That's a lot of investment in Forest defence. Rogers, some concern around the injury there. Watkins, Bowen, love the strike force. Love the strike force. I'm going to give this an 8. I would maybe even give it a 7, depending on what the bench looks like, because I have no idea. But we'll give it an 8. You know, we'll give you the benefit of the doubt there. Zach, 40 minutes ago. Probably gone by now. Probably not even there anymore. If you are, Zach, let me know. Kelleher in goal. Tarkovsky, Kukurea, Gvardiol, Milenkovic. So 2 6 million defenders and a 5.5. And 2 5.5s. Man, this is big at the back. This is big at the back. And yet we still got Salah, Palmer and Jai and Rogers with the potential issues. Wood I have some concerns with. PM Sar, love him as a differential, but of course there is going to be some concern around him, of course, naturally. But I like the big at the back teams. Like, I would trust a 5.5 million defender more than I would trust a 5.5 million midfielder, for example. So for that reason, a lot of the teams I'm making for myself at the moment are 4 at the back for that very reason. So yeah, I dig the 4 at the back. I dig it. Is this too much money in defense? Does that hamper the flexibility a little bit? Maybe. We've got Rogers there as well. Small concern there. I think this is maybe an 8 out of 10. I'm going to do a little refresh to see if anyone's... we got any new teams. New teams in. So we've got Eric 11 minutes ago. Let's check out your team. Bench boost 2. Or game week 2. We've got Kelleher, Dubravka, Diouf, Tarkovsky, Virgil, Senesi, and Big Steve. I've seen a couple of Senesis, you know. Seen a couple of Senesis. Interesting. And Jai, Wirtz, Palmer, Salah, and Dewsbury as our 5th midfielder, who I think is going to be really interesting. My one concern about Dewsbury Hall is if he will start in game week 1. I think there's got to be some concern there. But I like him as a pick, and he's definitely someone I'm toying with in my own team at the moment. But if I was to have Dewsbury Hall, I think I would bench him game week 1, unless it looked like he was, you know, very likely to start in game week 1. I would probably be looking to bench him. Fulkrug, Watkins up front. Maybe not a super high amount of flexibility in the Fulkrug position, but you got Evan Nilsson on the bench there. So, you know, actually, I think that's fine. Overall, I think this is a strong team. I think we can comfortably give this a 9 out of 10. Yeah, I'm happy to give this a 9 out of 10. I like it. I like it. How do you become a member? And how do you put your team picture up for you to look at? Okay, so just to let you know, guys, we'll be doing this again in the future. If you do want to become a member, we're currently rating teams at the starting 11 tier or higher. We are also going to be doing weekly streams just for people at the starting 11 level or higher as well. As a member, but yeah, there's instructions on screen of how you can become a member. You click the join button there. It might not be available on mobile, and then once you are a member, if you just go to my YouTube page and on my posts tab, my community tab, there is a Google Drive folder for you to drop your team in there. So there you go. If you do want to become a member. But, you know, no pressure. You don't have to do it. Chloe, you missed my super chat. Oh, no, don't worry. I was waiting. I was just replying to that guy. And then I'm coming right to you. Don't worry, Chloe. We got you. So, Chloe's team. Sanchez, Dubravka, Van de Ven, Diouf, Nico, Steve, Dorgu, Mittelmer, Palmer, Wirtz, Gakpo, Cunha, Haaland, Watkins, Gu, bench boost 2. That's quite interesting. So you've got Wirtz and Gakpo instead of Salah, really. So hoping to cover it that way. Could work. I quite like it. Yeah, I'm going to give that an 8. There's some players I'm not super comfortable with. Dorgu, Mittelmer, Cunha do give me some of the heebie-jeebies. And also, I'm still not fully on board with bench boosting double Burnley defense. It just feels wrong, man. It feels wrong. But you know, I'm gonna give it an 8, Chloe. It's a strong team. It's a strong team. It really, really is. All right. Let's see if we can find some more Twitter teams. Again, I'm so sorry if I haven't found your team yet. I'm gonna try and keep things fair and not take requests, if that makes sense, and just kind of try and do it randomly, just so everyone has the same chance. This team is from Anti. Bench boost game week 1. Still waiting for Rogers updates, apparently. But you know what? Rogers could be switched to Ndai quite easily for a team like this. We've got Kelleher, Pedro Porro, Murillo, Tarkovsky, Wan-Bissaka, Salah, Wirtz, Palmer, Rogers, Welbeck, Joao Pedro, Dubravka, Adingra, Fulkrug, Van der Ven. It's a strong bench boost. It's a strong game week 1 bench boost. It is. I think Joao Pedro, or is it? It's the strikers here for me. Any given game week, Welbeck, Joao Pedro, and Fulkrug could be benched. I think that is what is scaring me about this team a little bit. The forwards, everything else, amazing. It's amazing. But those forwards are, yeah, they're scaring me a little bit. They're scaring me a little bit. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'll probably be. I'd be looking to maybe replace Welbeck. If you downgraded Rogers to a 6.5, or maybe even more, you could get Welbeck to like a Mateta, who you know, Mateta plays against Chelsea in game week 1. Now that Colwill's out, I feel like I could feel comfortable having Mateta game week 1. I could feel comfortable with it. How did Chelsea end up, by the way? Oh, Joao Pedro scored. I've got to have a serious think about getting Joao Pedro in my team, haven't I? I've got to have a serious think about it. He seems like he's on fire at the moment. Danny! I think, Danny, I've seen you in the chat, actually. Did I see you in the chat? Yeah, I did. Okay, Danny, here's your team. Great name, by the way. Danny. Oh, what a name. Right, we've got Kelleher, Dubravka as the goalkeepers, defenders, Van der Ven, Nico Williams, Virgil, Diouf, Steve, midfield of Anderson, Palmer, Salah and Jai, Marlon, Haaland, and Welbeck. You know what? Is this bench boost game week 1? It's not, is it? Diouf has to play. Diouf has to start. And Welbeck has to go. This is very close to being a 10 out of 10 team. Welbeck is letting the side down here, I think. FIFA fan says 1-2-0 Estaval and Pedro scored. Delap played bad. Looks like Pedro will likely start over him. That's fair. That's fair. I'm getting some FOMO on Joao Pedro. If everyone's gonna own him, he could destroy me. He could destroy me. All right. This team is close to being a 10 out of 10. Welbeck is the issue. But if you switched Welbeck to Strand Larsen, who plays against Man City game week 1, play Diouf instead of him in game week 1, or you could even you play one of Marlon or Strand Larsen. I think that genuinely would make this a 10 out of 10 team. Genuinely. This is very, very close. Very, very close to being the 10 out of 10. Very close. All right, we're going to do a couple more teams. Nick Hilraj, what level member are you? You've got to be a starting 11 member or higher. We did mention that. Sorry if I was unclear. But hey, Danny, you got a great name and you've got a great team as well. Just need to sort out Welbeck. Yeah. By the way, I could be totally wrong on Welbeck. That is just my impression right now from my own research there. But this is good for a Salah and a Haaland team. Switch Welbeck to Strand Larsen. Play Diouf game week 1. This is a 10 out of 10 Salah Haaland draft for me. So much so, I'm wondering how you even managed it. Like, it's really good. It's really good. 9.5. You know what? Fine. Switch Welbeck out. I'll give you a 9.5. Gladly. Gladly. Right, let's do a couple more quickly. Because I only really intended on streaming for an hour. I'm gonna refresh just in case there's any new ones in here. And we'll just scroll and try and find. We'll see who we land on. It's the big roulette. Sorry again, I'm not taking requests in the chat. We're just gonna try and keep it random to try and keep it fair. What to change for Welbeck? Strand Larson, Danny. Strand Larson is who I'd go for. Right. Scroll, the random scroll of randomness. And we've landed on Louis. So, Louis' team. Petrovic, Anderson, Nico, Tarkowski, Van der Ven. 4 at the back. Big fan. Yeah, like this defense. Like this defense. Even like Petrovic and Dubravka, I would debate maybe just trying Dubravka out instead of Petrovic. Because if Spurs are missing some key attackers and they haven't really signed many attackers by game week 1, which looks pretty likely at this point, maybe a bit of fatigue from the Super Cup and playing defensively, because that seems to be how they're playing in pre-season, there is a chance that Burnley keep a clean sheet against Spurs. I would say more of a chance than Bournemouth keeping a clean sheet against Liverpool, at least. So that's what I would say on that. Midfield, Salah, Palmer, Fernandes, Anderson, and Jai. Nice. Very, very nice. We've got Watkins as a solo striker with Fulkrug, Strand Larson there as well. I think if you're going to have Fulkrug, you got to play him game week 1. Like, honestly, like, play Dubravka here. Maybe you've just changed Fulkrug to a 4.5. If you're not going to start him in game week 1, just switch him to Mark U. Save yourself 1.5 million and look to where you can reinvest that. Because that takes an Anderson to a Van Dijk. And that is, instantly, wow. Instantly strong. So, I think, again, this is a couple of changes away from being a 10 out of 10 team. It really is. Just, I would play Dubravka ahead of Petrovic game week 1. I would downgrade Fulkrug to a 4.5 if you're not going to play him game week 1, because beyond game week 1, I think he probably becomes a little more rotation risk, injury risk, whatever, beyond game week 1. I think he should play most games, in fairness, Fulkrug, but the fixtures after game week 1 are not amazing. So you miss out on the best fixture for him. And then after that, yeah, just rock with Strand Larson, upgrade Anderson maybe. Or you could upgrade Strand Larson to an Evan Nilsson or a Mateta or a Joao Pedro if you wanted to. There's loads of options there. As soon as you drop Fulkrug down to a 4.5, like suddenly your options just explode. And you've got all of these options. But alternatively, keep Fulkrug, but play him. And that would probably involve going 3-5-2 and benching Anderson, I would say. So that's another way you could play it. That's another way. So there are options here for sure. There are options here. Right, one more team, guys. I'm going to do the random scroll of randomness. Yoni says, can you give me a huge shout out? Yes, big shout out to Yoni. Actually, sorry, huge shout out to Yoni. Righty-ho. Scott, we know you're a regular of the channel, Scott. So by good fortune, we've landed on you. So, final team of today's stream. Sanchez, Dubravka, like it. Romero, Tarkowski, Nico Williams, Murillo, Munoz. That is so much money in defense. Holy moly. Yeah, I don't think I like double Forest defense, but I love the big at the back. You're not going to play 5 at the back, surely. Maybe you are. Palmer, Gakpo, Sarr, Salah, and then another Sarr. Watkins, Evan Nilsson, Mark U. This is a strong team. This is a very strong team. I would worry personally about double Forest defense, but if you're feeling it, if you like it, there's some 4 at the back. Okay, Munoz bench game week 1 presumably, and then comes in for Romero game week 2. Am I along the right lines here? What happens game week 5 when you got double Forest? Game week 4. Sorry, double Forest defense against Arsenal. That's where I would maybe look to make a change. Yeah, that's the only concern I have. The rest looks good, looks sweet. But there we go. That is going to be the last of the of the teams rated today. But guys, if you do want to get your Fantasy Football Hub team rating, there's a link at the top of the description. You get a rating. It's not from me, but it is from a robot. The robots know more than me. That is another discussion entirely. But guys, I massively appreciate you guys for checking out this stream today. If you like this kind of stuff, we'll maybe try and do it again at some point over the next week. And then, you know, next Friday, guys, it's going to be a big stream. We're going to be streaming for like hours on next Friday, like all day stream. We're going to be doing the FPL Team Name World Cup. We're going to be rating some teams. We're going to be talking through all of the injury news and, you know, a lot of the team leaks and lineup leaks and stuff like that. Injury news. It's going to be one big FPL launch party next Friday. So hopefully a few of you guys can join me for the stream next Friday as well. Yeah, it's going to be an all-day affair. So it's going to be fun. But yeah, tomorrow we're back with another video. It's daily videos now until deadline, hopefully. And yeah, guys, thanks for checking us out. Leave a like before you go. Massively appreciated. And hopefully I'll see you guys on tomorrow's video. Thank you so much for watching once again. And I will see you later, mates. Bye-bye.